She's ugly, but she knows it, and she owns it. This bizarre and unforgettable woman was painted by Quentin Massys around 1513 in a work now known as The Ugly Duchess. It hangs in the National Gallery in London, and it's one of the strangest portraits of the Renaissance. At first glance, it feels like a joke, but the details tell a different story. Her hair is hidden under an enormous horned headdress, a fashion that was already outdated when this was painted. It's stiff, ridiculous, and yet the braid of her veil is painted with such fine precision, it looks like embroidered silk. The craftsmanship is exquisite. Now her face, wrinkled and weathered, with skin stretched tight in some places and sagging in others. Her nose is sharp, and the distance between her nose and mouth is unusually long. Her mouth is toothless, her lips almost collapsed inwards. She looks masculine, especially with that wide, jutting chin. Yet here she is wearing makeup and posing like a noblewoman. Her eyes are the most striking. They don't look sad or ashamed. Instead, they stare straight ahead with a kind of tired confidence, like someone who has nothing left to prove. Her clothes are tight, far too young for her age. The dress is low cut, and her large, sagging breasts spill out of it. The texture of the skin there is incredibly lifelike, every line and shadow painted with care. She holds a red rose delicately in one hand, maybe a symbol of love, or maybe just another layer of irony. The rose is still a bud, never bloomed. Her fingers are thick and rough, and her nails are jagged and uneven, like she didn't trim them properly. On one finger, a ring, reminding us of the beauty she may have once claimed, or perhaps imagined. This is not a flattering portrait, it's satire. But it's not entirely cruel either. It's a woman past her prime, dressed like a girl, trying to hold on to something that's already gone. And yet, she lifts her chin, straightens her back, and dares us to laugh. Maybe she's delusional, or maybe she's free. So, what do you think? Was she a real duchess, a satire, or the world's earliest drag icon? Drop your theories in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and follow for more bizarre art that makes you look twice and maybe laugh a little. At first glance, it looks peaceful. A man rests in a bathtub, eyes closed, head tilted. Maybe he's sleeping, maybe he's dreaming. But don't be fooled. You're not looking at rest, you're looking at murder. Cold, quiet, freshly done. This is The Death of Marat, a painting that shows not just a man's final moment, but a message carved in blood. Jean-Paul Marat was a revolutionary writer, a voice for the poor during the French Revolution. He had enemies, many. He lived with a skin disease, hiding in his bath for relief, surrounded by paper, ink, ideas, and danger. The woman who killed him, Charlotte Corday, came in with a letter in her hand, a request to speak. Marat welcomed her. She pulled out a knife and stabbed him straight through the heart. One strike, that's all it took. David painted the scene right after it happened. But look how he paints it, not like a crime, but a sacrifice. Marat's body is soft, glowing, pure. His hand still holding her letter, the knife wound barely visible, blood like a whisper on his skin. He looks like a saint, like a martyr. Now look at the details. His hand, limp, holds a pen. He was still writing when he died. A blood-stained note lies below. Charlotte's fake plea, a trick, a trap. The wooden crate next to the tub has his name on it, like a coffin. The blade rests on the ground, no longer needed. And what about the light? It pours over his chest and face like heaven opening up. The rest of the room? Drowned in shadow. His death is painted as beauty, as glory, as noble suffering. But it's also cold, stripped of noise. There's no scream here, no panic, just stillness, silence, a sacred death, but also propaganda. Jacques-Louis David, the artist, was Marat's ally. This painting wasn't just memory, it was a weapon, a call to the people. Look, it says, they killed our voice. Look what they took. But what's missing? Charlotte, the killer. She's gone. Erased. This isn't her story, only his, the hero, the victim, and the myth. And yet, under the surface, you feel the tension, the setup, the quiet horror, the water, once warm, now cold, the paper stained, the ink unfinished, the air heavy with something not said. This painting is a moment frozen, but it pulses with life, with blood, with danger. It's grief wrapped in order, violence disguised as peace, just like the revolution it came from. So don't trust the calm, don't trust the light, because this painting, like Marat himself, speaks even after death. She doesn't speak, she doesn't move, but her eyes, they tell a story from 600 years ago. This is Portrait of a Lady, painted by Rogier van der Weyden around 1460. No one knows her name, but we can feel her elegance, her mystery, and maybe even her secrets. Let's look closer at this beautiful painting and find out what her face, clothes, and hands are trying to tell us. Rogier van der Weyden was one of the most famous painters of the 1400s. He lived in Belgium and painted people in a very emotional and detailed way. He didn't just paint faces, he painted feelings. This lady was probably rich, but not royalty. We don't know her name, but her portrait is one of the most beautiful of the early Renaissance. Look at her head. Her hair is pulled back very tightly. Women in that time even shaved part of their forehead to make it look bigger, because that was considered beautiful. She wears a thin white veil, folded carefully. It shows she is polite, quiet, and controlled. Every line is soft, every angle is sharp, like she's made of glass. Her face is very pale and smooth. Her lips are tiny and closed. Her eyes are looking down, not at us. She looks shy, maybe sad, maybe deep in thought. But she's not weak. She looks strong in her silence, like she's hiding a powerful story behind those eyes. Her dress is dark and simple, but very elegant. You can see a thin, see-through piece of cloth at her chest that shows modesty. Her hands are folded in front of her. They're small and delicate, with a gold ring on her finger. She's not showing off. She's showing respect, grace, and peace. There's no background behind her, just darkness. Why? So we only see her. So we focus on her face, her veil, her hands. Van der Weyden uses sharp lines and soft shadows to make her look real, but also like a dream. Everything leads your eyes back to her expression. She's not just a pretty face. She represents what people at the time thought was perfect beauty, calm, pale, and pure. She also shows the values of her time. Be quiet, be respectful, hide emotions. But maybe, just maybe, her real personality is hiding behind that little smile. Today, you can see her in the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. Even though she lived 600 years ago, people still stop and stare at her. Why? Because she feels real. Because her silence says more than words ever could. Portrait of a Lady is not just a painting, it's a feeling. It's beauty without words. And even though we don't know who she is, we'll never forget her. Two boys sit in the shadows, their clothes torn, their feet bare, yet their faces light up with pure joy as they share a simple meal, grapes and melon. This is children eating grapes and a melon, painted around 1650 by Spanish artist Bartolomé Esteban Murillo. It's more than just a picture. It's a story of hardship, friendship, and the small pleasures that bring happiness. Murillo lived in 17th century Seville, a city bustling with trade but also plagued by poverty and disease. While he was known for religious paintings, Murillo also captured everyday life, especially the lives of poor children. His works like this one were popular among European collectors and often ended up outside Spain. The painting shows two boys against a dark background, which makes them stand out. Light from the left highlights their faces and the fruit, drawing our attention to their expressions and actions. This use of light and shadow, known as chiaroscuro, adds depth and emotion to the scene. The boy on the right sits on a wooden stool with a melon on his lap. He holds a slice of melon in one hand and a knife in the other. His mouth is full, and a melon seed sticks to his cheek, a touch of realism that brings the scene to life. The boy on the left sits on the floor next to a basket of grapes. He holds a slice of melon and lifts a bunch of grapes to his mouth, eyes wide with anticipation. Their clothes are ragged, and their feet are dirty, showing their poverty. Yet, their expressions convey contentment and camaraderie. The grapes and melon are painted with great detail, almost like a still life. The fruit represents the boy's rare moment of indulgence. Despite their hunger, they savor the food, sharing it between them. This highlights the theme of finding joy in simple pleasures, even amid hardship. Look closely, and you'll notice flies on the melon, a broken basket handle, and fruit scraps on the floor. These details add authenticity and remind us of the boys' rough environment. The painting doesn't romanticize their situation, but presents it with honesty and empathy. Murillo's painting tells a story of resilience and the human capacity to find happiness in the darkest times. It's a celebration of friendship, sharing, and the small moments that make life meaningful. Children. Eating grapes and a melon invites us to reflect on our own lives. It reminds us to appreciate the simple joys and to find light even when surrounded by darkness. Murillo's masterpiece continues to touch hearts, centuries after it was painted. All right, let's take a closer look at the Arnolfini portrait by Jan van Eyck, painted in 1434. At first glance, this looks like just a fancy wedding portrait, right? But wait, there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. Let's dive in and uncover some secrets hidden in this masterpiece. Here we have Giovanni di Niccolao di Arnolfini and his wife Costanza. They look like they're about to tie the knot, but guess what? This isn't just a regular wedding portrait. Something's a bit off about it. Like, what exactly are they doing? Let's dig deeper. Now, take a good look at this mirror. It's a bit tricky, isn't it? At first glance, it seems like just a shiny surface, but there's something strange reflected in it. If you look closely, there's a third person. Who could that be? Is it the artist himself, Jan van Eyck? Or is it just a clever detail to make us wonder? We may never know, but it's an intriguing mystery. And let's not forget this adorable dog. Now you might think, okay, it's just a cute pup. But in the world of Renaissance art, dogs were often symbols of loyalty and fidelity. So, this little guy isn't just posing for the picture, he's got a deeper meaning. Kind of like saying, hey, these two are in this together. So the dog is actually playing a pretty big role in the symbolism of the painting. Look at her hand, see how it's raised. Some believe this hand position symbolizes a pledge of faith or a promise. Others think it might be a gesture of greeting, or maybe even something as simple as her holding a rosary. Whatever it means, it definitely adds an extra layer of mystery to this portrait. And how about this chandelier? It might just be a beautiful piece of decoration, but in Renaissance art, chandeliers were often used to symbolize light, like the divine light or purity. Could it be suggesting that this couple's marriage is blessed by divine light? Or maybe it's just there to show off their wealth? Either way, it's definitely worth paying attention to. When you step back and look at the whole painting, you start to realize that it's more than just a wedding portrait. It's packed with symbolism, secrets, and little details that invite us to ask questions. Why is Jan van Eyck including all of these hidden elements? Maybe he was telling us something that still baffles us today. Or maybe he just wanted us to enjoy the mystery. So, what do you think about the Arnolfini portrait? Do you think the guy in the mirror is really Jan van Eyck? Or do you have a different theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed discovering all these little secrets, and subscribe for more art mysteries coming your way. He's not laughing, he's not performing, he's just standing still, a clown in white, staring at us. But something feels wrong. This isn't funny, it's haunting. This is Pierrot, or Gilles, painted by Jean-Antoine Watteau around 1718. It's big, it's quiet, and it's full of secrets. Let's look closer. Jean-Antoine Watteau was a French painter during the Rococo era. Most of his art was soft, romantic, and playful. But this painting? It's different. It's nearly life-size, over 1.8 meters tall, and instead of joy, it gives us silence. It now hangs in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Right in the middle, a man stands in a pale white costume, loose sleeves, big buttons, a flat collar, no movement, no smile. His eyes look tired. His mouth? Slightly open, as if caught in thought or breath. This is Pierrot, a famous character from Italian street theater. He's usually sweet, foolish, or the butt of jokes. But here, he looks human, vulnerable, alone. Even his shadow falls behind him, as if he's stepping out of the background and into our world. Now look behind him. 5 figures, all dressed in costumes. They're characters from Commedia dell'arte, a type of comedy from Italy. There's Harlequin in his checkered outfit. They look relaxed, talking, maybe laughing. They're part of a group. Pierrot is not. He stands in front of them, but not with them. This is important. Watteau is showing separation. Pierrot is part of the play, but not part of the fun. So what's really going on? Why is Pierrot alone? Some say it's about sadness behind the mask. Others think it's a self-portrait, that Watteau saw himself in Pierrot. Watteau was often sick and died young. Maybe this painting was his way of saying, I was here, but I didn't really belong. The painting also breaks rules. Most group portraits show harmony. This one shows distance. Most clowns wear makeup. Pierrot doesn't. His face is real. Look closely. The brushwork is soft, almost dreamlike. No harsh lines. Just gentle shadows and creamy light. Watteau paints the costume with such care, you can feel the fabric. The background is muted, letting the faces and clothes stand out. He doesn't tell us what to feel. He just leaves us with a question. Pierrot doesn't laugh. He doesn't cry. He simply exists, caught between theater and real life. Watteau painted a clown. But what we see is ourselves. Imagine a painting that shows something very unusual. A woman with a full beard, breastfeeding her baby. You don't see that every day, right? But that's exactly what Giuseppe de Ribera, a well-known Spanish artist, painted in 1631. Ribera was famous for showing real people with strong emotions, using a technique called chiaroscuro. That means he played with light and dark to make things look deep and dramatic. This painting shows his style well. But unlike many of his other works about myths or religion, this one is about a real woman with a rare medical condition. The woman in the painting is Magdalena Ventura. She became known because she started growing a full beard at the age of 37 and kept it for the rest of her life. In the painting, she stands tall and proud while breastfeeding her baby. Her face is serious and strong. On the side, there's a stone tablet with writing in Latin. It tells her story and calls her a wonder of nature because of her beard. Ribera didn't paint her to make fun of her. He showed her as someone special and strong. In the background, you can see her husband, Felice d'Amici. He stands in the shadows and looks less clear than Magdalena. This might mean that Magdalena was the stronger figure in their relationship, or it could show how people saw them at the time. Their baby is in Magdalena's arms, calm and safe, showing the caring side of motherhood. What makes this painting so interesting is the mix of things we don't usually see together. Magdalena is doing something very feminine, breastfeeding, but she also has a full beard, something people think of as very masculine. That mix makes us think about what it means to be a woman or a man, and what is seen as normal. Ribera's painting doesn't just show what Magdalena looked like, it makes us think about how we treat people who are different. During Ribera's time, people didn't understand medical conditions like hers, but he gave her respect and showed her as a powerful person. This painting was ordered by the Viceroy of Naples, a powerful man named Fernando Afán de Ribera. He may have wanted to show the world people who were rare and amazing, not just as curiosities, but as real human beings. Today, you can see this painting in the Museo Nacional del Prado in Madrid. Even now, it makes people stop and think about how we see others. It's more than just a picture of a woman with a beard. It reminds us that people are full of surprises, and that being different can be powerful. 500 years ago, Leonardo da Vinci painted this woman. She is not smiling like the Mona Lisa. She holds a strange white animal, and she is full of secrets. This is not just a beautiful portrait, it's a message, a puzzle, a story. Let's, let's look closer, and I'll show you what many people miss. Her name is Cecilia Gallerani. She was 17 years old when Leonardo painted her. She was smart, wrote poetry, and lived in Milan, Italy. She was the secret lover of a powerful man, Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. He was also Leonardo's boss. So this painting is not just art, it's personal. It shows power, beauty, and hidden love. Look at the left side. Her dress is made of fine fabric. It is red, blue, and gold, very expensive colors. She wears a necklace made of black beads. Some say the beads look like rosary beads, but there is no cross. Maybe it's just fashion, or maybe it hides a message. There's also a delicate transparent veil on her forehead, barely visible. It shows her noble status, and many people don't even notice it. Now look at her hands. Her fingers are long and elegant. Leonardo made them longer than normal. Why? To show grace, calm, and control. Now, the animal. This is not a cat or a dog. It's an ermine, a white ferret. In history, the ermine is a symbol of purity. But here, it means something more. The ermine was the personal symbol of Ludovico Sforza. He had the nickname White Ermine, so the animal is a secret sign for him. Leonardo used it to say, "This woman belongs to Ludovico." It's a love message hidden in fur. Also, the ermine only becomes white in winter, another symbol of purity and high class. Now look at her face. It is turned to the right, but her eyes look even further. She is focused on something, or someone, just out of view. She is not smiling. Her lips are tight. She is thinking, maybe dreaming, maybe hiding something. The light touches only one side of her face, creating mystery. Leonardo was a master of detail. He painted light and shadow very softly. This technique is called sfumato. There are no harsh lines. Look at the animal's fur. It looks soft and alive. Look at her skin. It glows, smooth like marble. The painting is almost like a photo, but it's from the 1400s. Behind her is total darkness. There is no landscape, no window, no room, just black. That makes her face, her dress, and the ermine shine even more. It feels like she's in a spotlight. She is the star and the secret. Lady with an Ermine is more than a portrait. It is love, power, beauty, and mystery, captured in paint. Leonardo didn't just show a woman, He told a secret story, one we are still trying to fully understand today. Las Meninas by Diego Velázquez is not just a painting. It's a puzzle, a trick, a game about power, art, and who's really in control. Velázquez, the painter. He is standing behind a big canvas. We can't see what he's painting. He is holding a brush and a palette. He is not looking at the painting. He's looking at you. On his chest is a red cross. That's the symbol of the Order of Santiago, a group for noble knights. Princess Margarita is the girl in the white dress in the middle. She is about 5 years old. She is the daughter of the king and queen. Her dress is very fancy, with silver and red designs. She is surrounded by people. To her left, kneeling down, is Maria Agustina Sarmiento. She is offering a small red cup on a tray to the princess. To her right is Isabel de Velasco. She is standing and looking at the princess. Her hands are ready, like she's about to bow or fix the dress. A dwarf woman named Maria Barbola stands on the far right. She looks at the viewer seriously. Beside her is a young dwarf boy, Nicolasito Pertusato. He is stepping on a big dog to wake it up or tease it. The dog is a big Spanish Mastiff. It lies on the floor, calm and sleepy. In the middle back, there is a woman, dressed in light colors. This is Marcela de Ulloa. She is talking to another person. Next to her stands a bodyguard or escort, maybe a male servant. His face is dark, not easy to see clearly. There is a bright doorway in the back wall. A man is standing inside the light. His name is José Nieto. He works for the Queen. He might be coming in or going out. He gives the painting a feeling of movement and space. On the back wall there is a mirror in the middle of the back wall. In the mirror you can see two people, the King and Queen of Spain, but they are not in the room. So why do we see them? Are they standing where we are? Is Velázquez painting them? Or is it just a reflection from another room? This mirror is the biggest mystery in the painting. There are many paintings hanging on the wall. These are dark and hard to see clearly, but they show stories from mythology and history. They add meaning, but also make the room feel serious and deep. The ceiling is very high and plain. It has two small chandeliers, but they are not lit. This makes the room feel quiet, still, and big. Velázquez made a painting that talks about art, reality, royalty, and you, the person looking at it. Who is this painting really about? At first glance, the Laughing Cavalier seems like a typical portrait of a man in the Dutch Golden Age, but the most intriguing feature is his laughter. The Cavalier's face is wide with a smile, his mouth curled into a knowing grin. There's something almost mischievous about the way he's smiling. It's as if he knows a secret, and he's just waiting for you to figure it out. This kind of mischief is what makes the painting so interesting. Why is he smiling? What's so funny? The man's elaborate clothing suggests he's a member of the elite or a wealthy class. His ruffled collar is especially prominent, representing the extravagant fashion of the time. But there's something else about this collar. It's almost like a clownish accessory in the way it stands out. Was Hals subtly mocking the social pretensions of his subject? The jovial nature of his attire doesn't match the usually serious tone of typical Poe behind the Cavalier. We don't see much, just a dark, minimalistic background. This makes the subject stand out more and draws all attention to his expressive face and lively personality. But the empty background may also be a clever way for the artist to tell us something. The Cavalier has no real context. He's not in a specific setting, he's untethered, a man of mystery with no connection to a certain time or place. The laughing adds to the sense of confidence and self-assuredness, as if to say, who needs a context when you have such a great smile? Secrets and hidden meanings. The cavalier's smile could symbolize his arrogance or perhaps a deeper sense of self-satisfaction. It's almost as if the artist is making fun of the pretentiousness of the wealthy class, whose only concern was appearances. The fashion of the time, with its exaggerated ruffles and rich colors, may hint that the cavalier himself was aware of his wealth and social status, possibly even mocking it by making his portrait so over the top. Some art historians have suggested that the cavalier's laughing expression could indicate a satirical view of the social elite, with Halls poking fun at the aristocracy of the time who often appeared serious and stiff in their portraits. Is the laughing cavalier laughing at us? Or is he just having a joke at his own expense? The smile, the extravagant fashion, and the empty background all work together to tell a story about confidence, mockery, and the sometimes absurd nature of social class. Through this mysterious grin, Halls captures a moment of levity, humor, and hidden meaning, one that may have been lost to viewers for centuries. What if you could paint your darkest moment? Not a smile, not calm, but pure fear. In the 1840s, Gustave Courbet did exactly that. He painted himself in a moment of panic. This is Le Désespéré, the desperate man. Let's look closer at this intense masterpiece. Gustave Courbet was a French painter. He was bold, rebellious, and didn't follow the rules. Most artists painted pretty things: gods, kings, perfect people. Courbet painted real life, real feelings, real struggle. This painting is a self-portrait. He didn't just show how he looked, he showed how he felt: lost, afraid, trapped. Let's begin on the left. We see his hand, tight on his head. His fingers dig into his hair. His hair is wild, messy, moving. It's like a storm is happening, inside and outside. The light shines on his skin, but the shadows are deep. His hand says, "Help." But no one hears it. Now look at his face. His eyes are wide open, too wide. They are full of panic, like he saw something terrible. They don't just look at us, they stab us. His eyebrows are raised, his mouth is half open. He wants to scream, but he doesn't. This is a silent scream. On the right, his other hand pulls at his head. His arms form a frame around his face, like he's trapped in his own mind. His clothes are loose, open, blowing. This shows movement, but he's standing still. He looks like he wants to run, but he's frozen. There is no room, no window, no escape. The light hits only his face and hands. That makes the emotion stronger. The contrast between light and shadow adds drama. It's like he is falling into darkness, but we caught him mid-fall. Courbet painted this when he was young. Maybe he was afraid of failure. Maybe he was losing control. This painting is not just about him. It's about human fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of being misunderstood, and the fear of being honest. Look closer. His pupils are slightly different. One is larger. That shows deep panic. His neck muscles are tight. Even his shirt is painted in a fast, nervous way. Courbet didn't try to be perfect. He tried to be real, and that's why this painting still speaks today. The Desperate Man is more than a portrait. It's a mirror for anyone who ever felt fear. It's not pretty, but it's powerful. Gustave Courbet didn't paint a hero. He painted a soul in crisis. And sometimes, that's the bravest thing an artist can do. Grant Wood's American Gothic was painted in 1930, during the Great Depression, when many people in America were struggling. Wood, who was from Iowa, wanted to show what life was like for rural Americans during tough times, and this painting became one of the most famous in American art. In the painting, we see a man and a woman standing in front of a house. The man is holding a pitchfork, and both he and the woman look serious. Their faces show strength and determination, as if they have lived through hard times. The serious expression suggests that they are people who work hard and are used to facing challenges without complaining. The pitchfork that the man is holding is an important symbol. It's not just a farming tool, it could represent the Christian Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This connects to the idea of faith, which was very important to people living in rural areas. The pitchfork also represents hard work and the strength of people in farming communities. The sharp, three-pronged shape of the pitchfork is similar to the shape of the windows in the house behind them, creating a connection between the man and the house. Behind them is the house, which is built in a style called Carpenter Gothic. The house has tall, pointed windows, which are often seen in old churches. This makes the house seem special and suggests that faith is an important part of the life shown in the painting. The pointed windows also connect to the pitchfork, both visually and symbolically, showing how the land, the people, and their faith are all linked together. The curtains in the window are closed, which makes the painting feel mysterious. It's as if the house and the people are hiding something. Maybe the people are keeping their true feelings hidden, or maybe the house itself has secrets. This adds to the sense that there is more to the story than what we see on the surface. The woman is dressed in a modest brown dress with a white collar. Her outfit is simple, just like the lives of people in rural areas at that time. The simple dress reflects modesty and practicality. Both the woman and the man look serious and focused on their work, not concerned with how they look or showing emotions. Grant Wood used his sister Nan and his dentist, Dr. B. H. McKeeby, as models for the people in the painting. They were everyday people, not famous or rich, which makes the painting about all rural Americans, not just one person. Wood wanted to show that these values, hard work, faith, and strength, were shared by many people living in the countryside. The man in the painting looks like a figure of authority. He stands tall and firm, holding the pitchfork as if he is the protector of the family and land. The woman beside him is calm, her expression more reserved, but no less strong. Together, they represent a strong rural couple, facing the challenges of life with strength and endurance. The title of the painting, American Gothic, refers to the style of the house. The word Gothic refers to the tall, pointed windows, which are often seen in old churches. This gives the painting a connection to religion and emphasizes how important faith was in the lives of rural people at the time. American Gothic is more than just a picture of a man and a woman in front of a house. It shows the strength and hard work of rural Americans, their connection to faith, and how they face tough times together. Every part of the painting, the house, the pitchfork, the people, and even the curtains, helps tell a story about the resilience of people during the Great Depression. René Magritte's The Son of Man is a surrealist painting that features a man in a suit with his face obscured by a green apple. The man's identity is hidden, and his mysterious pose invites numerous interpretations. What does the apple represent, and why is the face hidden? Let's explore the hidden meanings behind this iconic artwork. The man depicted in the painting appears formally dressed, wearing a suit and bowler hat. He stands against a plain, cloudy sky with nothing but a simple wall behind him. His appearance and posture are neat and conventional, yet the placement of the apple in front of his face introduces an element of the unknown. The formal attire suggests normalcy, but the hidden face hints at the concept of concealed identity. The key element of this painting is the green apple that completely obscures the man's face. The apple, usually a symbol of knowledge or temptation, could be Magritte's way of showing how identity is often hidden or influenced by external forces. The apple could also symbolize illusion, suggesting that what we see isn't always the whole truth. The man's face is hidden, suggesting how people often keep their true selves concealed from the world. The empty background of the painting draws attention to the figure in the foreground. The cloudy sky and neutral wall suggest that the man's identity and the world around him is uncertain or elusive. The simplicity of the surroundings further emphasizes the focus on the apple, which stands as a symbol of what obscures truth and prevents clarity. Hidden meanings. The hidden face. Magritte was known for using surrealism to explore identity and perception, and the hidden face is a powerful symbol of how our true selves are often concealed from others or even from ourselves. By hiding the man's face behind the apple, Magritte may be commenting on the masks people wear, both consciously and unconsciously, in everyday life. It's possible that the man is hiding his true identity, which can be seen as a commentary on the human tendency to hide parts of ourselves. The green apple. The apple is another key symbol in the painting. Apples are traditionally associated with temptation, as in the biblical story of Adam and Eve, or knowledge, as in the famous symbol of education or enlightenment. In this context, the apple could represent temptation to hide one's true self or the illusion of truth that the man wants to present to the world. The apple's bright green color also suggests youth, vitality, and a kind of false promise, which could be hiding the truth about the man. The background. The empty, clouded background in the painting contributes to the feeling of ambivalence or mystery. The simplicity of the environment contrasts with the man's complex internal world. It suggests that identity cannot be understood by outward appearances alone, and that there is always more to a person than what is presented. René Magritte's The Son of Man invites us to question what we reveal to the world and what we choose to keep hidden. Is identity a mask or a mystery we're all trying to solve? What do you think the apple truly represents? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your interpretation. The birth of Venus shows an unforgettable moment when Venus, the goddess of love, is born from the sea. In this famous painting, Venus stands on a giant scallop shell, perfectly placed in the center of the scene. Her graceful, curvy body is the main focus of the artwork, drawing our attention as she steps onto the shore. Venus appears both delicate and timeless, embodying both beauty and spirit. Her body is positioned in a classical style, and the gentle flow of her hair and soft, pale skin seem to glow, making her look almost weightless. On the left, we see Zephyrus, the god of the west wind, blowing a strong gust of air toward Venus. His figure shows the power of the wind, with his mouth open and the wind streaming through his hair. He is accompanied by Aura, a lighter breeze, symbolizing the gentler winds that help guide Venus to land. Zephyrus's figure and the way the wind blows suggest that Venus's arrival is not just a birth, but the start of something powerful and full of meaning. Zephyrus holds Chloris, a nymph who is transformed into Flora, the goddess of flowers, representing new life and growth. On the right, there is a figure known as the Hora of Spring. She is standing ready to cover Venus with a flowing floral cloak as she lands. Her presence brings a sense of peace and joy, and her stance is relaxed, echoing Venus's own graceful pose. The flowers in her dress highlight her connection to the season of spring, a time of rebirth and new beginnings. The scene's background is soft and dreamlike. The sea is calm, and the rolling hills in the distance add to the peaceful atmosphere. This is a mythical moment, set on the island of Cythera, or Cyprus, known as sacred places for Venus. The setting of land and sea coming together marks Venus's birth and her connection to both the physical and spiritual worlds. Botticelli's skillful use of flowing lines and soft colors makes this moment even more mystical, inviting the viewer to experience a deeper connection to the story. In the painting, Zephyrus and Aura are on the left, gently blowing Venus toward the shore, while Venus is floating gracefully in the shell centered in the scene. The Hora of spring waits on the right, ready to welcome her and cover her with the cloak of flowers. The peaceful, dreamy landscape completes this mythological scene, making it clear that this is a moment that transcends time, beauty, and love itself. The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, painted between 1495 and 1498, is one of the most famous artworks in the world. It shows Jesus Christ having his final meal with his disciples, but this is more than just a dinner scene. Da Vinci filled it with hidden meanings and secrets. At the center of the painting, Jesus is sitting surrounded by his disciples. Pay attention to how their reactions change when Jesus says, "One of you will betray me." The atmosphere shifts dramatically. Some disciples look shocked, others confused, and some appear guilty. Judas, who will betray Jesus, is the only one leaning back, holding a small bag. It's almost like he's already prepared for what's to come. His face is in shadow and his eyes are lowered, showing his guilt. Meanwhile, the other disciples show various emotions: disbelief, sorrow, and confusion. Look closely at the table. The disciples are arranged in three groups of three, which could symbolize the Holy Trinity: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But the table is not just flat, it's designed to create depth and perspective. This draws your focus to the center of the painting, where Jesus is sitting. It's more than a meal. It represents a pivotal moment in history. Take a close look at Jesus' hands. They are nearly touching the bread just before he speaks about his body being broken for others. The bread and wine are powerful Christian symbols of Christ's body and blood. The way Jesus' hands hover over the bread seems almost like a warning. The bread is not just food, it's a sacred offering. This moment, though calm, marks the beginning of a monumental change in history. Notice the three groups of disciples. Why three? Da Vinci was brilliant with numbers and proportions, and here, the number three symbolizes divine perfection and unity, the Holy Trinity. The table is divided into three sections, which highlights that this meal is not ordinary. It's a key moment in spiritual history. Look at the windows in the background. The shape created by the windows looks like a cross, subtly hinting at Jesus' coming crucifixion. Da Vinci wasn't just painting a meal, he was capturing the moment before Jesus' sacrifice. The cross in the background hints at what's to come, a reminder of the storm that will soon arrive. It's easy to think this is just a meal, but it's so much more. It's a moment of betrayal, sacrifice, and prophecy. What looks peaceful and ordinary is filled with tension. Every disciple's expression, every placement, and every detail is leading to the tragedy that will follow. It's a calm moment before everything changes. Is the painting just about betrayal? Or is Da Vinci encouraging us to look deeper into human nature? Jesus' calm presence amidst all the chaos speaks volumes about sacrifice and fate. The way each disciple reacts shows the range of human emotions: love, betrayal, sorrow, confusion, and faith. Take a moment to think about this. What do we miss when we only look at the surface? Sometimes, the biggest moments are not in the chaos, but in the quiet, unspoken things. At first, it looks like a peaceful night sky. The stars are shining brightly, the moon is glowing, and the world feels calm. But if you look closer, you'll see something more. This painting has emotions. Van Gogh painted this while in a mental hospital. The swirling sky, the curved lines, and the intense colors aren't just stars and moonlight. They tell a deeper story about how he felt inside. In the upper part of the painting, you can see bright, swirling stars. They don't just sit there, they move, like they're alive. The stars look almost like spirals, and the moon has the same swirling pattern. Van Gogh used bold, thick brushstrokes to create movement. These swirls make the sky look alive, as though the stars are spinning. This wasn't just how the sky looked, it was a reflection of Van Gogh's mind. He felt as though his thoughts were always spinning, out of control. The stars might represent his dreams, or perhaps his hope, but in a restless way. Look below the swirling sky. The village looks peaceful and quiet. The houses are simple, with small windows. The buildings don't look as alive as the sky. There's no movement, just calmness. But this stillness might be a contrast to the chaos in Van Gogh's mind. Even though the village seems peaceful, it feels distant, almost like it's a different world from the active sky. Van Gogh was often alone, even in the quiet village. Now, focus on the big, dark cypress tree on the left side. It's tall and stretches upward, almost reaching the sky. The tree is in the center of the painting, standing between the peaceful village and the wild sky. Cypress trees were a symbol for death in some cultures, and Van Gogh painted them often. Some believe the tree represents his feelings of isolation and despair. The cypress stands in between, like it's torn between two worlds, the quiet village and the wild, chaotic sky. Maybe it shows that Van Gogh felt caught between life and death, between peace and madness. The yellow moon in the sky has a similar swirling pattern as the stars. It's bright and bold, standing out. But the moon, like the stars, doesn't look calm. It looks like it's moving, like everything in the painting is in a constant state of change. The moon could represent Van Gogh's emotions, changing, unpredictable, and never still. The stars, moon, and sky seem to show how his thoughts and feelings were constantly in motion. Van Gogh painted the starry night while he was staying in a mental hospital in France. He was struggling with his emotions and his mental health. While many people see the painting as beautiful and peaceful, there's more to it. The swirling sky suggests that the beauty Van Gogh saw wasn't calm. It was filled with intense emotions. The cypress tree is dark and mysterious, possibly showing the artist's connection to death or feeling out of place. Even the stillness of the village seems lonely, as if Van Gogh was always apart from the world around him. This painting might show that the artist's inner world was chaotic and intense, but he still found a way to express it through his art. The movement of the stars and the darkness of the tree are like a window into his mind. Van Gogh was often misunderstood, and people didn't always understand the struggles he faced. But through this painting, we can see that he didn't just paint what he saw, he painted what he felt. Look again. Is the night sky peaceful? Or does it hide something more, something restless and full of emotion? There's always more to discover in art. Keep watching for hidden meanings. Ever wondered what would happen if time itself started to melt away? Well, that's exactly what Salvador Dali shows us in The Persistence of Memory. This surreal masterpiece has captivated viewers for decades. Let's dive into the strange world of melting clocks and see what secrets it's hiding. Take a look at the melting clocks in the middle of the painting. These clocks are the star of the show. They're soft and sagging, bending over objects like they've just lost their structure. But what do these melting clocks mean? Could it be that time, like everything else in life, is slipping away? Now, let's zoom out and check out the barren landscape around these clocks. Notice how there's no sign of life here, just cracked earth and emptiness. This desolate place makes you feel like time doesn't even exist anymore. It's a world where rules don't apply. Right in the middle of all this chaos, you'll spot a strange face. It's distorted and looks like Dali himself. Zoom in and you'll see the face blending into the landscape. This face could be representing how time affects us all, how it changes who we are, bending our identity like those clocks. Now, look at this tree with a soft clock hanging off it. The tree is dried up and almost lifeless, just like the clocks. It's as if time has drained the life out of it. Zoom in here to get a closer look at how the clock is drooping off the branches, just like the passage of time affects everything, even nature. Here's a creepy detail: ants crawling on one of the clocks. Take a closer look. These ants represent decay and the inevitable passage of time. Time may melt, but even that can't stop decay. Zoom in on these tiny insects because they're a stark reminder of life's impermanence. Now, let's zoom out again and check out the mountains in the background. They seem so still and distant, almost like they're watching everything unfold. They might represent the unchanging nature of the world, while the melting clocks show how our perception of time is forever shifting. Next, we focus on a soft clock draped over a rectangular object. Zoom in here to see how time stretches and bends even over solid objects. Is this another symbol of how everything we think is solid or permanent is really just temporary in the grand scheme of things? As we zoom out again, check out the swirling sky in the background. It looks almost like the sky is melting too. This swirling motion might symbolize chaos, dreams, or memories, things that shift and move in unpredictable ways. Zoom out to see how the sky creates an otherworldly atmosphere in the painting. Finally, take a step back and zoom out to take in the entire scene. The whole painting is like a dream, where time is not linear and everything around you is slowly decaying. It's a world of surrealism where reality and time don't follow the rules we know. It leaves us questioning, what is time really? Is it something we control or something that controls us? At first glance, it looks like a simple scene, God reaching out to touch Adam, but there's so much more happening here. This isn't just a biblical story, it's a visual depiction of life, creation, intellect, and the divine spark that connects humanity to the heavens. Painted by Michelangelo during the Renaissance as part of the Sistine Chapel ceiling in Vatican City, the creation of Adam is often seen as a moment frozen in time. But beneath the surface, every figure, every shape, even the space between fingers, carries layered meaning. The most iconic part of this fresco is the nearly touching fingers of God and Adam. But this moment isn't frozen, it's charged. The gap between their fingers symbolizes potential, the moment just before. The spark of life is transferred. Some interpret this space as symbolic of the eternal mystery between divinity and humanity. We can reach, but never quite touch. This visual metaphor speaks not just of physical life, but of intellectual awakening. It's about the moment of decision, of becoming more than dust and breath. Adam's body tells another story. He's reclined, passive, and almost lifeless, his hand extended not with effort, but in expectation. His gaze is calm, perhaps even unaware of the power about to surge through him. This posture reinforces the idea that humanity is born not through effort, but through grace, waiting to be animated. Even Adam's body echoes classic sculpture, showing the Renaissance focus on idealized human form. But there's more than beauty here. There's vulnerability, incompleteness. Now look behind God. He's surrounded by a host of figures, some clearly angels, others more mysterious. One reclining figure under God's arm is often interpreted as Eve, waiting her turn to be created, but another theory sees her as Sophia, the personification of divine wisdom. This feminine figure's intense gaze and placement close to God's heart suggest her importance. If she is wisdom, then Michelangelo may be showing us that creation isn't just biological, it's intellectual and spiritual. Look again at the shape around God and the angels. It isn't just cloth. According to some scholars, it perfectly mimics a cross-section of the human brain. This hidden symbolism was first identified by Dr. Frank Meshberger in 1990. Michelangelo, deeply interested in anatomy, may have intentionally hidden this brain to suggest that intellect, the ability to think, to reason, is a gift from God. This redefines the fresco. It's not only about physical life, but about the mind, about consciousness. God doesn't just give Adam breath, he gives him thought. There's another fascinating anatomical interpretation. Some believe the red cloth surrounding God resembles a uterus, with the green scarf as an umbilical cord. From this perspective, the fresco becomes not just about the touch of God, but the cone and birth of humanity. A maternal act of divine creation. This maternal imagery aligns with Renaissance themes of origin and cosmic order, suggesting that creation is both powerful and nurturing. The tiniest part of the painting may be the most profound, the gap between the fingertips. It's just a breath apart, yet it holds the essence of mystery. It's been seen as a metaphor for human striving, for our eternal longing to reconnect with the divine. It reminds us, the divine is always near, but never forced. It must be chosen, invited. Michelangelo's use of color is subtle but purposeful. God is wrapped in red and surrounded by divine light, while Adam is grounded in earthy greens and browns. This contrast reinforces the separation between divine and mortal realms, but also the bridge between them, built by that almost touch. Light bathes God and his angels, while Adam rests in shadow, waiting for illumination. Creation, then, is a journey from darkness into light, from matter to meaning. This painting isn't just a scene from Genesis, it's a Renaissance manifesto, showing that humanity is both divine and dust. It's a symbol of art, science, spirituality, and human potential. Even its anatomical secrets, the brain, the uterus, show that Michelangelo believed in the union of body and soul, of God and reason. Don't be fooled by her calm face or gentle smile. What you're seeing isn't just a portrait. It's a layered illusion, a quiet storm wrapped in beauty. At first glance, the Mona Lisa seems peaceful. A woman sitting still, soft smile, quiet background. But look closer. Really look. Suddenly things feel off. Her smile is famous, but also strange. Not happy? Not sad? It disappears when you stare straight at it, then returns when you look away. Leonardo painted it using sfumato, a smoky technique that softens edges, blending shadow into light. That's why her expression changes depending on how you see it. It's not just a smile, it's a mask, a trick, maybe even a warning. Her eyes follow you. Always. It's unsettling. Like she's alive behind the paint, and science shows they're hiding something. Inside each eye, experts found faded letters, an L in the right, an S in the left, maybe for Leonardo and Salai, his apprentice, and possibly his lover. Some say the painting is Salai himself, dressed as a woman. Or maybe it's Leonardo, a self-portrait in disguise. She has no eyebrows, no eyelashes. Strange, right? Either Leonardo never painted them, or time erased them. But their absence gives her a ghostly look, like she's half in our world, half out. A memory frozen in oil. Now the landscape behind her. On her right, it's calm, rolling hills, a quiet river, a distant bridge. But on her left, everything changes. Jagged rocks, harsh cliffs, a wild twisting river. Two different worlds, harmony and chaos, order and madness. And she's sitting in between them, holding them both in silence. Her hands are perfectly calm, one resting gently over the other. But look closely. They're too perfect, too posed. It's control. It's elegance. Yes, but also detachment. Nothing in this painting is by accident. Every detail is planned. Beneath the surface, scientists discovered other paintings, earlier versions of this woman, different poses, expressions, even clothing. Leonardo painted over them, like he was changing her, hiding something, or trying to find the right version of her, or himself, even deeper. Numbers and symbols, a 72 in the background, no one knows what it means. Some say it's linked to secret societies, ancient texts, or religious codes. Some connect it to Kabbalah. Some say it's the number of divine wisdom or judgment. And there's more. Her veil, almost invisible, suggests she's a noblewoman, or perhaps mourning, but also purity or mystery. Renaissance women wore veils for modesty or for funerals. Her clothing shows no jewelry, no power symbols. Yet her posture and the chair she's sitting in show status. She's important, but we don't know why. The bridge in the background? Scholars believe it's the Ponte Romito near Arezzo. Leonardo knew this region, so this scene may be real, but distorted, a dream version of Italy. Her pose was revolutionary. No one had been painted this way before, facing the viewer, sitting sideways, hands folded, turning gently toward us. Now it's standard. Then it was genius. And maybe the biggest mystery? Her identity. Some say she's Lisa Gherardini, a merchant's wife. Others say she's a mix of real and imaginary, a symbol, not a person. Some even believe she's Leonardo himself, reflected through a female form. So what is the Mona Lisa, really? Not just a painting, not just a woman. It's a puzzle, a performance, a silent confession from the mind of a genius who trusted paint more than words. She smiles, but maybe not at you. She watches, but never blinks. She holds your gaze while keeping all her secrets. And that's why, 500 years later, we're still asking, who is she? And what is she hiding? A woman collapses in sorrow, her body mirroring the lifeless form of her son. Tears fall, hands reach out in grief, and a deep sadness fills the air. This is not just a painting, it's a powerful story of human emotion. Welcome to The Descent from the Cross by Rogier van der Weyden, a masterpiece that speaks without words. On the far left, a woman in a white headscarf wipes away her tears. She is Mary Cleophas, the Virgin Mary's half-sister. Her eyes are fixed in sorrow, reflecting the immense tragedy. Next to her, in green, is Mary Salome. She helps support the Virgin Mary, showing both grief and compassion as she steadies her sister, who is fainting. Wearing red, John holds the Virgin Mary in his arms. His face is young but marked by sorrow, his eyes red from crying, showing his deep sadness. The Virgin Mary, in a bright blue robe, has fainted from overwhelming grief. Her body mirrors that of Jesus, highlighting their strong connection. Her tear-streaked face reveals the depth of her pain. In the center, Jesus is being lowered from the cross. His body is lifeless, with blood flowing from his side, referencing a biblical passage, John 19:34. His loincloth, made from one of Mary's veils, is so thin you can see the blood underneath, yet it stays clean. An older man, probably Nicodemus, supports Jesus' upper body. His serious expression shows the weight of the moment. Joseph, dressed in rich clothes, holds Jesus' legs. His clothes reflect his wealth, but his face shows reverence and deep sadness. A young servant on a ladder holds the nails that were removed from Jesus' body. One nail extends outside the frame, breaking the illusion and pulling us into the moment. The cross is cut off, forming a T shape. It subtly resembles a crossbow, which was the symbol of the patron guild. The shapes of Jesus and Mary's bodies echo the curve of a bow, adding another layer of meaning. On the far right, Mary Magdalene is in deep mourning. She holds her hands in distress, leaning forward in despair. Her presence, along with the others, creates a circle of compassion surrounding Jesus. At the base of the painting is a small skull, a symbol of Golgotha, the place of Jesus' crucifixion. It's a reminder of death and resurrection, adding layers to the scene of sorrow. The crossbow shape of the cross hints at the patron guild, showing how art connects with the community and its symbols. The colors in the painting are rich in meaning. Blue, often used for the Virgin Mary, represents purity and sorrow. Red, seen in St. John's robes, symbolizes love, pain, and sacrifice. The descent from the cross is more than a simple depiction of Christ's death. It's a deep emotional journey, filled with hidden symbols and intense sorrow. Every figure, every color, and every detail is carefully placed to evoke feelings of grief, compassion, and faith. What's hidden on Arnold Buckland's The Isle of the Dead? This haunting painting, created in 1880, holds more than just its eerie landscape. It's a masterpiece that continues to captivate viewers with its dark, mysterious aura. Arnold Buckland, a Swiss symbolist artist, is known for exploring the unknown and the supernatural in his works, and The Isle of the Dead is no exception. The painting shows a solitary, desolate island rising from dark waters, surrounded by mist and a gray sky. It's a quiet scene, but there's something about it that feels off. A calmness that feels almost unnatural, like the calm before a storm or the silence of a graveyard. But what is this island, and what does it represent? In the foreground, a small boat drifts toward the island. In it, a figure dressed in black holds a large white cloth. This could symbolize a journey, one from the world of the living to the afterlife. The boat seems like a vessel for death, and the figure might represent someone carrying a soul or body to its final resting place. The quiet, eerie movement of the boat across the still water creates a sense of mystery and inevitability. The white cloth in the figure's hands adds to this sense, as it could represent a corpse, shrouded and ready for burial. The island itself is not a place of life, it's a place of death, or at least a transition. The tall, dark trees and the solitary stone structure on the island suggest a tomb or mausoleum. There's no sign of life, no animals, no people, just a cold, quiet space that seems to wait for something. This could be a representation of the afterlife, a place between life and death, where the soul is taken after the journey has ended. The mist that surrounds the island and the dark water could symbolize the unknown, the mysterious part of existence that we can never fully understand. It's as if the island exists in a liminal space, where the boundaries between life and death blur. Perhaps the most interesting detail of the painting is the mirror-like reflection of the scene in the water. This reflection adds a layer of depth to the painting, suggesting that there is something more beneath the surface. Mirrors often symbolize self-reflection or hidden truths, and in this case, the reflection could be showing us the true nature of the island or the journey of the figure in the boat. It might be suggesting that there's more going on in this scene than we realize, that what we see on the surface is just a small part of a much larger story. The Isle of the Dead seems to deal with themes of life, death, and the unknown. It leaves us to wonder whether the island is truly a place of rest, or if it represents something more sinister, perhaps the beginning of a journey into the unknown. The eerie stillness of the painting, combined with the figure's quiet journey toward the island, gives it a sense of inevitability. It feels as though The figure is on a journey that can't be avoided, a journey that every living being must eventually take. And yet, we don't know what lies ahead, and that's what makes the painting so compelling. Buckland has created a scene that taps into our deepest fears and uncertainties, asking us to contemplate what happens after death and what the afterlife might look like. In the end, the Isle of the Dead remains a mystery, a piece of art that invites us to reflect on the unknown and what might lie beyond the world we know. Arnold Buckland's masterpiece captures not just the idea of death, but also the uncertainty and intrigue that surrounds it. The island is a place of transition, a crossing between the living and the dead, and the journey it represents is one that we all must take. But just like the painting itself, we'll never fully know what lies ahead. What's hidden on the Isle of the Dead is something we'll have to discover for ourselves as we continue to explore the mysteries of life, death, and what comes next. This is one of the most famous portraits in art history, Girl with a Pearl Earring, painted by the Dutch master Johannes Vermeer around 1665. Often referred to as the Mona Lisa of the North, this simple yet mesmerizing painting has captivated art lovers for centuries. At first glance, it seems like just a portrait, a girl wearing a blue and yellow turban with a large pearl earring. But what makes this artwork so special? It's the way she looks at us. Her direct gaze is striking. She turns over her shoulder, but her eyes seem to follow you wherever you go. There's an air of mystery about her. Who is she? What is she thinking? This elusive quality has made her one of the most enigmatic figures in art. Now, let's take a closer look at the most famous feature, her pearl earring. It's large, luminous, and catches the light in a way that seems almost magical. The light hitting the pearl is soft, almost glowing. Some art experts believe that Vermeer intentionally exaggerated the shine of the pearl to draw attention to it, giving it a life of its own. Her turban is a striking blue, made with expensive pigment that was rare and costly at the time. The colors Vermeer uses are vibrant and striking, but it's the simplicity of the background that makes them pop. The black background makes the girl stand out even more, almost like she's suspended in space, giving her an ethereal quality. But there's something unusual about this painting. This is not a formal portrait. It's not a commission or a royal family member. It's called a tronie, which is a Dutch word for a study of a face, an exaggerated or idealized portrait that might not be of a specific person at all. In fact, we don't even know who this girl is. She might not have existed at all. The pearl itself has a rich, symbolic meaning. In many cultures, pearls are seen as symbols of purity, wisdom, and even perfection. Vermeer's use of this symbol might be pointing to these qualities in the girl, or perhaps it's simply a visual device to draw our attention. We may never know for sure, or this painting is currently housed in the Mauritshuis Museum in The Hague, Netherlands, where it continues to captivate millions of visitors every year. It's a masterpiece that speaks to the mysteries of both the subject and the artist. The Girl with a Pearl Earring is timeless because it raises questions without giving us answers. Who is she? What is she thinking? Why does she look at us the way she does? These mysteries are what make her so captivating, and perhaps that's the secret to why we still admire this masterpiece today. Let's begin by taking a closer look at The Milkmaid, painted by the legendary Johannes Vermeer between 1657 and 1658. This masterpiece from the Dutch Golden Age transports us to a simple moment, yet there's more to it than meets the eye. The woman in the painting appears serene and focused as she pours milk into a bowl. Her expression is calm, and her hands are steady. Notice the incredible attention Vermeer gave to the light on her skin and hands, highlighting his unique technique of capturing light and shadow. This simple domestic task becomes a symbol of the quiet beauty in everyday life. Vermeer didn't just focus on the figure. The still life elements, like the milk jug and the bowl, also play a crucial role. The attention to the details of the ceramic and the careful placement of each object gives this scene a sense of calm order. These everyday objects might seem simple, but they're carefully arranged to tell a bigger story. As we look beyond the milkmaid, notice how the light pours in through the window, casting soft shadows across the scene. Vermeer's skillful use of light is one of his trademarks, making ordinary settings feel extraordinary. The quiet space is almost as if it's frozen in time, capturing a peaceful moment in the hustle and bustle of daily life. Even the items on the table, like the loaf of bread and the jug of milk, hold meaning. They're symbols of nourishment and the work of daily life in the Netherlands during the 17th century. This scene is more than just a kitchen moment. It's a snapshot of life, a moment frozen in time, showcasing Vermeer's mastery of domestic scenes. But what really sets this painting apart is Vermeer's technique. Look closely at how the light bathes her face and hands. It's almost as though we can feel the warmth of the light coming through the window. This delicate use of light gives the painting depth and warmth, making it feel alive, as though the milkmaid could step out of the canvas at any moment. In the end, The Milkmaid by Johannes Vermeer is a beautiful and peaceful representation of life's simplest moments. The detailed objects, the soft light, and the symbolism all come together to create a masterpiece that transcends time, making it one of Vermeer's most famous paintings. In Nighthawks, 1942, the scene is set in a lonely, late-night diner. The glow from the diner's fluorescent lights stands in stark contrast to the surrounding darkness, drawing you into this isolated, almost surreal world. The diner feels like it's in the middle of nowhere, just one small building sitting alone on an empty, quiet street. At the center of the painting, we see three people sitting at the counter. They're distant and seem lost in their own thoughts. There's something deeply unsettling about their isolation, as though they're waiting for something, yet no one speaks. On the left, we have a man dressed in a suit sitting on a stool. His posture suggests he's in deep thought or possibly lost in his own mind. He doesn't interact with the woman sitting next to him. The woman beside him, in a red dress, faces forward, staring into the emptiness of the diner, her expression cold and uninviting. Behind the counter stands the waiter. He's the only one behind the counter, and his flat, emotionless stare adds to the overall feeling of distance and isolation. He seems to be going through the motions of his job, but there's no real connection to the customers. His posture is stiff, almost as if he's a part of the background rather than a participant in the moment. Now, let's look at the setting itself. The empty streets outside the diner and the large windows showing nothing but darkness are a key feature. This makes the diner feel like it's cut off from the rest of the world, like an island in the middle of the night, with no sign of life anywhere nearby. Even the soft glow from the diner feels artificial, like it's trying to fill the void of the empty world outside. But here's where things get even more interesting. The lack of interaction between the characters in the diner suggests a deeper meaning. The disconnection and the solitude they all seem to experience, despite being in the same space, hint at something more profound: alienation. Hopper masterfully uses the simplicity of the scene to convey the feeling that no matter how close people are physically, they can still be distant emotionally. The light in the painting is also crucial to the story. The diner's bright, artificial light represents comfort and warmth, but it also isolates the people inside, making them appear as if they're trapped in their own little bubble. The sharp contrasts of light and dark suggest a tension between the inner world of the characters and the outer world, which is empty and cold. The people inside are enclosed in this space, yet there's no real sense of connection between them. What makes this scene even more haunting is the silence. There's no conversation, no movement, just stillness. The people are isolated in their own thoughts, and there's no interaction to break the silence. This adds to the eerie feeling that this isn't just a late-night diner. It's a metaphor for the alienation and loneliness that many people feel, even when they're surrounded by others. Hopper uses this painting to explore a very deep and timeless theme, that in the modern world, we can often feel alone even when we're surrounded by others. The dark secrets of Nighthawks lie in this idea of emotional isolation. The characters, the diner, the street, all seem to be part of a world where human connection is rare and loneliness is pervasive. This painting speaks to something we all understand, the need for connection, but also the loneliness that can exist in a busy world. And in this quiet diner, Edward Hopper shows us just how often we are caught in our own isolated worlds, waiting for something, yet unsure of what it is. This is The Night Watch by Rembrandt, painted in 1642. It might look like a regular military group, but it's much more than that. The first thing you notice is how it doesn't feel like a typical portrait. Instead, it looks like something is happening right in front of you. The people in the painting aren't standing still. They're moving, ready for action. In the center, we have the captain, Franz Banning Koch, and his lieutenant, Willem van Ruytenborsch. The captain is dressed in dark clothing with a white collar and stands out because of the way the light hits him. You can tell he's the leader, as he's the brightest part of the painting. The lieutenant, standing next to him, is in a colorful outfit with gold details, which makes him also stand out, but not as much as the captain. Behind them, there's a whole group of soldiers. Some are holding guns and rifles, while others are carrying flags or other equipment. These soldiers are posed in a way that makes them look like they're preparing for something important. Even though they're standing still in the painting, you can feel the movement and energy. It looks like they're getting ready to go out on a mission, not just posing for a picture. Now, if you look closely to the left side, there's a young woman holding a chicken. This might seem strange, but the chicken is actually a symbol of the group's militia. It connects the soldiers to the city of Amsterdam and its guilds. The woman is also wearing a golden dress, which adds to the richness of the painting. She's not just a background character, she's important to the story. One of the most interesting parts of The Night Watch is how Rembrandt shows action. If you look at the soldier on the far right, you can see he's lifting his rifle, ready to fire. This makes it feel like the scene is happening right now, rather than just a calm portrait. The way Rembrandt paints these figures makes them feel alive and full of energy. A big part of what makes this painting so special is the way Rembrandt uses light and dark. This technique is called chiaroscuro. He uses strong light to highlight the captain and his lieutenant, while the rest of the group is in shadows. This draws your attention to the most important figures and creates a feeling of drama. It also makes the scene look three-dimensional, almost like the people are stepping out of the frame. When you step back and look at the whole painting, the Night Watch is not just a military group posing for a portrait. It's a lively moment in time. Rembrandt doesn't just capture a scene, he brings it to life, making you feel like you're right there with the soldiers. Each figure has a story, each detail adds meaning, and the whole painting tells the story of Amsterdam in the 1600s. The Night Watch is one of Rembrandt's most famous paintings, and it's easy to see why. The energy, the light, and the rich details make it a masterpiece that still amazes people today.